Okay, we're back, baby. We're back. Let's make sure we're on the Facebook page here as well. Spinning wheel. Bum 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 ba dum ba. Welcome back, everybody. Hello. Welcome to an episode of Dove Valley Mile High Insiders Divers going on here. It's silly time, baby. We just got done with a 7-hour stream covering day 3 of the NFL draft. Mark Anthony joining us again. Oh my gosh, it's happening. They're actually doing an MHI after killing it for 6 hours, 7 hours, Mark. 7 hours. Thank you very much. But yeah, we're here. Here we are. Eric, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm kind of at a manic state at this point.
I mean, I'm super excited. As I tweeted out, it's over 50 days worth of hours of work that's finally come to an end, and I'm excited. I want to get ready for next year already. I'm super excited for it already. Like, I love this time of year, but I mean, doing these live shows, it definitely takes a lot out of us, man. I'm tired. Yeah. You can see my eyes. Like, I kind of got little dark circles underneath them, but I'm excited. Still have a lot of work to do, but I'm glad to be back and talking with all the Bronco fans and everything about this draft.
Yeah, baby. We are excited to be here. Everybody joining back in. Draft fatigue, never heard of her. Not for these two maniacs, not for Eric and myself. We're here today. I guess I'll do the Mile High Insiders read here because this is Mile High Insiders. Luke is off working away. He's taking a little break right now, but he's back to writing again as well. He's doing his gut reaction pieces. So, man, no more gut reaction than Quinn Miners there, right, with the crop top. Speaking of gut, Mile High Insiders, guys, you can find us on Twitter at MHI_football pod, the mothership at Mile High Huddle. You can help us a lot there, guys. If you want to check out our swag, go to huddleuppod.com. If you're joining us today for the first time, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share. I see it says we have 69 people in here right now. Nice. Good job, everybody. And also we got 4 thumbs up. Let's get those numbers up. Jerry Judy, let's get it up to Jerry Judy's, what's his number right now? He's rocking I've totally lost my mind. 10. Let's get up to 10. Heck, why not? That'd be great. So here we go. Also, before we get in too far down the track, we got to tell you about Manscaped. Guys, we just got through a big onslaught of draft picks and everything. Where the ball is going to bounce from now on, we don't know, but it's after that onslaught, everybody's feeling a little bit dirty right now, maybe a little bit stinky. I had to hop off and get a shower there for a second. Well, you want to make sure that you are cleaning things right now. It's the new season right now. Get that 5 and 11 washed out. And if you're going to want to be clean, you're going to want to be shaped up, you're going to want to check out Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, offering a precision-engineered tools for your family jewels and helping 2 million men around the world keeping their male grooming on point. If the balls didn't bounce your way in 2020, just like it didn't for the Broncos, Manscaped is here for you. So that way you can reboot, redraft, and make sure you're clean and shaved heading into 2020. I was talking about it earlier. I am 2 weeks away from a backpacking trip in the Olympic National Peninsula. I am stoked. I cannot wait. 30 miles, 3 days, 2 nights. Guess what I'm bringing with me? I say it all the time. The ball wipes. I honestly, if you can't see what's going on below the waist here for the show, I was at the end of day 3, like, man, I'm catching whiffs of myself. Maybe I should bust these bad boys out. We don't need to get suspended on YouTube, so I'm not going to go there, but they have great stuff. Also, we have some purchases coming down the track here, but the Weed Whacker is on the way. Eric, I'm about to be 30 years old here this season. The nose hair is starting to be an issue. Do we have some comment from the chats here coming down? About okay, you're laughing at me, I think. Yeah. It's fine. So we got I need to get the Weed Whacker, man. I'm starting to get a few of those stray black nose hairs, and luckily I've been hiding those behind a mask recently, but I'm hoping sometime in the future, we can see the beautiful faces again without that, but I need to get that Weed Whacker before that. So guys, if you want to make sure that you're taking care of that, also they have the Lawnmower 3.0, fantastic. It is the flagship of all Manscaped products, and the anti-chafing boxer brief. So a lot of good products there. If you guys want to get these products and check them out, please go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping if you use the code HUDDLE. One more time, get 20% off and free shipping if you use the code HUDDLE at manscaped.com. Your boys will thank you. And new beginnings, right? It's the draft season. We're here. Oh, man, it's giving me a hard time. 30, you're a baby. I'm old. I feel like I aged 20 years over the last 3 days. Eric, God bless you. Chad was like, you guys don't have to do tonight. No, the grinding never stops. We're back here. Like I said, I'm in a manic state. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. I'm really excited about this draft class. How are you hanging?
A little to the left.
Oh, man.
But no, I'm good. As I said, I'm super excited. I've hit that second wind. Like
Yes.
we had that short little
Yes.
lull. I got my video recorded about undrafted free agents. Hopefully it's going up. A lot of guys I talked about are already been signed. So kind of rushed through it, but
Yeah.
kind of had that little lull and I got really down, got really tired. But that second wind, it's back and I'm rearing to go, baby.
Let's do it to it, Dave, saying you guys should have taken the night off. You know who's not taking the night off tonight, I bet? George Paton, right? So he's back there. He's starting to figure out. He's calling the phones right now, trying to get those undrafted guys in. If he doesn't sleep, I don't sleep. We got Nork
Uh,
saying the lull here. Go ahead.
the phone he's working it with Green Bay.
Ooh. He's trading for David Bakhtiari, right? We're going to fix that tackle issue. That's what it is. No, bring him back to Colorado. Kenneth Booker coming in here real quick. We're obviously going to get to the draft class here. I'd like to get into the rest of the division as well, how they did, maybe some of our favorite draft classes. Obviously, it's still kind of new to us. I haven't gotten to like look at every team's draft class to really understand how their own boards work, but we'll do that today. We'll give you some initial reactions, especially the AFC West. But Kenneth coming in. Who are your biggest surprise players who didn't get drafted? I'm going to go with one right here, just right off the bat. Trill Williams. I know that he was kind of a weird fit there with Syracuse because he's like has the body type to play boundary corner. They used him at nickel, could play some safety. I thought given his movement skills and his length, somebody would take a shot on him. But to go undrafted, maybe there's something else going on. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. Both could be possible. But do you have any guys here? You've obviously been going through the undrafted class here. So what's going on?
Darius Washington. I'm a little shocked that
Yeah.
he didn't go. I know he's a little bit small, but dude's feisty. He's fierce. Like he's got a good nose for the ball. I really thought he would. But another one that really fell under the radar that I didn't realize when undrafted, Darius Stills, the defensive lineman out of West Virginia. I
Yeah.
thought he was one of the better defensive linemen in this class. Always interesting to know why these guys fall. Maybe injuries, maybe character. We don't know.
And it's pretty shocking to me that obviously there's some character stuff here or like work ethic stuff, but Marvin Wilson, not only was he projected as a first round pick a year ago today, I mean, a lot of people were projecting him in the top 15, but I think he was like the number one or one of the top 5 college football recruits as well. And typically teams will take a shot on guys who have that pedigree as well, even if they had the up and down play. So there is some stuff about Marvin Wilson with like keeping weight down and like didn't always work out with the coaching staff. It seemed, I mean, obviously there was some issues this offseason between him and the coaching staff, which, go off, if you have an opinion, put it out there. I have no issue with that, but surprising for me to see him go undrafted. We got Swink McCloud coming in here. You guys are heroes after 9 hours of this today. I was raring to go. Eric actually messaged me and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I said, "Does a bear shit in the woods?" Yeah, I'm in. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but John is not here today, taking some personal time. So I'm going to say that word. I'm not going to go too far down it. We're going to go maybe PG-13 today instead of PG. Jamal Killings. Hello, Broncos country. How we doing? Tommy Simmers in the house with the picture of the giant rooster. Can't throw the ball if the whole field is full of DBs. They're just baiting them. They're saying, "I dare you to run the football." Vic Fangio, analytics genius. Welcome back from Cody Potter in here. Oh, maybe we'll even talk some 2022. Give me some non-Slowest Howell rather 2022 quarterback hype, please. We'll get there, Ryan, at some point. We will get there. Drew Heilman is such a Munchak UDFA pickup. Eric, I have not seen a single thing from Drew Heilman. Talk to me. What's going on with Drew Heilman? Himmelman. Exactly.
Dude
What's
is
going on?
tall and long, not quite 34-inch arms, like just underneath, 6'9", has good bulk, good athleticism. Gonna need to spend a lot of time in the weight room though, getting stronger. His technique needs to get a little bit better. Like he's just one of those guys, and I talked about it when we were live for the draft covering it. He's one of those guys that just screams late Vic Fangio type guy. Alexander Villanueva, the former tight end that he was converting to him. It's just that same type of body mold. Tall, good length, athletic, just the guy that he just gets to put his fingers all over and just mold into what he wants him to be.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good call there. We got Mo Ron coming in here over on YouTube. Guys, like, subscribe, and share if you're joining us on YouTube. Are either of you two concerned about Stearns, Cooper, or Spencer's past injuries going forward? You know what? Injuries are a part of the game of football. The Broncos have vetted these guys. I know for a fact they had a lot of guys off their board because of these injuries. Yes, it's a part of the equation, but the medical staff ruled them not concerning enough to not take them. And you're talking about, day 3 picks, right? At some point, you're like, this guy has injuries, but he's also talented. day 3 picks, what are the odds of them hitting anyway? Like 10, 20% to being like good starters in the league? Take a shot. That's where you want to take risk. Maybe there's a difference between like character risks and injury risks, and obviously it's not binary. There's a scale there, but I'm not super worried if those guys flame out. It's kind of like Jake Butt. Like you used a 5th round pick on it. That sucks. It really sucks when George Kittle is the next pick, but that's good. I'm okay with that process, taking that risk.
Yeah, I agree. And as you said, day 3 picks here. Everything I've heard back from Stearns is that they're perfectly fine with it. He got cleared. Everybody I've spoken to for other teams and stuff like that, they said that he was cleared. They're giving me that kind of information.
Yeah.
Cooper and Spencer, 7th round picks. I mean, not going to harp on them too much. I mean, it's like Nathaniel Moody. It's like Jake Butt taking risks on day 3 for guys with injuries. As long as it's not like a completely shot leg or something, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably a little hinting there at Dylan Moses, maybe perhaps there with that comment. We got Phoenix Fire coming in here, rocking what looks like the Von Miller jersey there. Maybe a Chubb. Looks, I see a 5. A+, especially since day 3 were a lot of special teams guys. We need him. Pookie for Offensive Rookie of the Year, especially with Aaron Rodgers. Man, he really could. The big thing with Pookie Williams is that the Broncos still have a really good running back. The Melvin Gordon last year, we talked about it. I mean, you can kind of read the room too with the drafting of Quinn Miners. The Broncos' interior offensive line struggled in run blocking. They went from one of the better run blocking units in football from 2018, 2019, and they fell off last year. And Melvin Gordon was actually pretty good despite not being blocked in front of him. That was probably a big reason for seeing Phillip Lindsay drop off as well. So I think if Melvin Gordon gets dinged up, you're going to feature Javonte Williams, right? He's going to get a bulk load, but you're not hoping for that. So you have 2 guys who can do similar things, well-rounded backs, big backs, inside the zone, gap scheme stuff. I'm excited for them. Both good pass blockers as well. But I would not probably lean on Javonte Williams for Offensive Rookie of the Year just because Melvin Gordon's still out there, of course.
And maybe Denver moves on from Melvin Gordon. I don't think they will, but I mean, it's a possibility. Yeah. Maybe they do that. If that happens, then I could see it. But as long as Melvin Gordon's on the roster, I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. And we got Jason Babcock coming in here saying, love the draft we had, but the one and only question is, Rodgers! Got to do the discount double check voice. Guess we'll know June 2nd. Well, Jason, guess we'll know. It does seem like I really am curious if the Broncos didn't, if that didn't matriculate, is that the right word? Or start to precipitate the potential rumors with Rodgers if the Broncos would have taken Justin Fields at 9. I think that's definitely a possibility, but I think there's more than a babble when it comes to Aaron Rodgers to Denver. I think odds are, if I was a betting man, I think he would probably still be in Green Bay. I know he says he's done, but I think Green Bay could even fire their GM. But I don't know, man. It's things are moving that way. We will see.
Yeah, I think that Carl hit the nail on the head earlier when we were talking about it, and over the last couple of days as we talked about it. When the bridge is burned with Aaron Rodgers, that's it. And that bridge in Green Bay is burned. I mean, the dude has like next to nothing to do with his family. Like, he's basically cut them out. I mean, that right there shows you that bridge is burned. That bridge is burned. So I don't think he ever takes a snap in Green Bay again. I think he'll retire, maybe sit out the year, but I don't think he's taking a snap with them again.
Okay, if not Green Bay and if not Denver, who would you put on the team that could get Aaron Rodgers? Obviously, he says he wants to go west of the Mississippi. And the Packers are probably sending him to the AFC. Is it the Raiders? I mean, they just had a terrible draft class. They seem in complete disarray right now. I wouldn't want anything to do with the Raiders if I was Aaron Rodgers. They just seem like a complete laughingstock. And I know they beat the Broncos twice last year, but like this Broncos team was dealt with more injuries than any team outside of San Francisco last season. And obviously, it's kind of like with Peyton Manning coming in here. That 2011 team, they made the playoffs, but they had a really easy schedule. The ball bounced their way a lot in 2011. Peyton saw the offense, what they were, and said, if I go there, I'm going to have a chance. Kind of like Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay this year, right? They didn't make the playoffs last year. He sees the weapons. Quarterback's not good. Quarterback's having issues. If I go there, we're going to have a chance. So what do you think there? But what besides the Broncos, who would you put some money on for Aaron Rodgers' other team?
I know he's been linked to San Francisco and the Las Vegas Raiders, but at this point, I think the San Francisco 49ers, I think they're in on Trey Lance now. That's their focus. They're all in on him. And I think and also on top of that, do they have the ammo to go get Aaron Rodgers now after making that trade up? I mean, number 3, that's an enticing piece. They could go get a quarterback then, but now It's unless
Nope.
they're giving Trey Lance, and I just don't see it. And then the Raiders with dealing with John Gruden, like I don't see that either. I think that the only other team that has a chance to get him is the team at Jeopardy.
How about a Russell Wilson for Aaron Rodgers, just straight up swap? Russell Wilson back to
NFC.
Wisconsin. Oh yeah, that's true. I just thought for the funds. I mean, they get Russell Wilson then, but okay, we got Granville Kalkworth coming in here. Let me know if I said that right. He's listing a bunch of the Broncos UDFAs, so I'll give these pump these off to you here, Eric. But Air Force guard Nolan Laufenberg, Colorado State fullback Adam Prentice, Illinois State offensive tackle Drew Himmelman, Temple wide receiver Brandon Mack, Iowa tight end Sean Byer, UDFA. Okay, Sean Byer. He had injuries at Iowa, whatever. But this is a non-football take. I went up to a game at Madison, Wisconsin, and I met his family. Nicest people in the world. They got me and my buddy absolutely. Man, that first half of the Wisconsin game, what happened? I don't know. But the great people. Sean Byer, I'm pulling for him.
Now, am I mistaken? Isn't he more of a blocking tight end?
I don't think so. Honestly, he didn't run great, but he actually was a wide receiver before transitioning to tight end. Obviously, you play for Iowa, you have to block. But I would say they typically used him a little bit more flexed out positions. He wasn't that like classic Y. So he can block, and he didn't test the best, but he's always had like pretty good body control. It's just been injuries derailed him from taking those steps. I'm not expecting a George Kittle there. You don't have the dominant athleticism and flashes blocking, but I would say he's actually more of a finesse guy who can flex out and do some stuff. Kind of like, remember Austin Fort? That's the kind of name that I see there with Sean Byer.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got Sean Campbell coming in here. Looks like the Broncos can have up to 13 UDFAs after the class of 10 in the draft. Well, thank you very much, James. Let us know what time it is over across the pond.
Real quick, I just want to say George Paton made a comment about adding 5 offensive tackles from this point on. Like,
oh my God,
agents, either undrafted, 5 offensive tackles.
Are we allowed to talk about things that might have been with offensive tackle? If not, just we'll just keep rolling on through. Okay,
we can throw it out there.
Okay. The Broncos, obviously, they had some good picks here. I'm going to focus mainly on Quinn Miners, and Jamar Johnson. Both good players for the Broncos. Doesn't sound like it was the guy they initially hoped for with that pick. They were hoping for an offensive tackle. First, Quinn Miners, everybody's going to love him. It's going to be great. I have no issues there. That's fine. Broncos kind of wanted Spencer Brown there. Ended up going to the Buffalo Bills. And then the Jamar Johnson pick, Bills snipe him again. Tommy Doyle. 2 offensive tackles the Broncos apparently had their eyes on. 2 that are now both Buffalo Bills. So here we are. I mean, maybe it works out where Jamar Johnson and Quinn Miners are way better than those guys. Always can happen that way. That's the draft. But just know the Broncos were interested on tackles. They were ready to do some, ready to take some, and it didn't work out that way. Speaking of working out, go ahead.
And Vic Fangio hinted on that. I mean, they drafted 7 defensive players, 3 offensive players, and he said, "Is like, we didn't plan on that. It's how the board fell. Sometimes you just get kind of screwed over a little bit, and it's the point of the draft." I mean, look at the Cowboys. They got sniped by Denver with them taking Patrick Surtain.
And then the Dolphins got sniped with Denver moving up to get Javonte Williams. 1 pick for the Dolphins, who were interested in Najee Harris, were interested in Travis Etienne. They were ready to go Javonte Williams. Denver knew that. Traded up and got him. We got good friend of the show, David Cremello coming in here, the $10 super. Awesome work as usual, guys. Outside of passing on fields, I think George Paton did a very good job in his first draft as GM. It's truly a breath of fresh air to have new leadership at Dove Valley. No, and I do want to say, yes, I agree with you mostly. I probably would have taken that Chicago Bears deal, the trade down, just to get that extra ammo. I've said it 100 times on here, if you don't have the quarterback figured out, which Denver doesn't know if they do, then you need to put yourself in a position to do that. And I don't view Patrick Surtain as a no doubt blue chipper. I thought he was a very good prospect, but he wasn't like Kyle Pitts level or Penny Sewell on my board. Like, those are blue chippers in my mind. So I would have probably kicked back and gotten all that extra capital, but it's fine. And also I want to say, Elway gets a lot of flack, but the last few drafts I thought have been pretty darn good for the Broncos. There's a reason they had so much cap space. It's because they've been hitting pretty well on their draft picks, still wandering that quarterback desert. But overall, I mean, he set up this roster pretty good. Like, they don't have a lot of bad contracts besides Juwan James. It's a good young roster, up and coming. There's a reason. Peyton is just coming in, building on what Elway already laid down.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I just want to grab this comment real quick. And he said, and from In the Shop Willie, who it was great seeing you in the live and poking fun at all of us, especially Luke a little bit.
I got jealous. I was getting jealous.
He says, no, he was definitely not being serious about adding 5 tackles. Reading the quote he made, man, it seems serious. And George Paton, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to kind of BS you about anything. He just tells you how it is. And I mean, he was point blank today. He's like, there's an offensive tackle they were viewing today that didn't fall to them. Tommy Doyle.
Yep. And yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, right? 32 other teams. Sometimes you don't get the exact guy you want, but sometimes it works for the best. So I'm really happy about almost every single one of these picks. I'm not raging about any of them. You know, there's not a DeMarcus Walker pick on the board today where I was like, what the heck is going on? George Fox coming in here saying, thanks for all the work you guys did for the draft. Well, guess what, George? The draft's over, but Mile High Huddle is not over. We're going to continue to plug on. We're going to analyze the draft picks. We're going to analyze the AFC West draft picks, et cetera, et cetera. So we appreciate it. And also, guys, in the shop, Willie saying, I'm too broke for more supers. That's fine, man. We've been out here all day today. Don't worry about it for a second. So we appreciate that. We got Swink McLeod saying Nick and Eric have motors good enough to be on Vic's defense. Eric, what's the arm length? That's right. We talked about that a bunch of times today. You got those monsters. I'm still on the wall at my elementary school for the sit and reach record. Not because I had good flexibility or anything. I just I could scratch my knees before I hit puberty. That's like all the men in my family are that way. It's weird. I was good at basketball until everybody else grew. But thank you very much, Swink. I really appreciate that. And Mark saying I splurged on supers in the winter and then realized that I am broke as well. Well, Mark, you got a cute puppy picture there, so that's great. Mo Ron saying cocaine is a hell of a drug. So there we go. That's great. Malcolm Brown saying hello from Ogden, Kansas. I ate too much after draft, so no second wind. Oh man.
Malcolm,
got James Campbell.
Quick,
go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to say, go spend time with your new grandbaby, man.
Well, he can hang out. Introduce us. You know, there's Eric and Nick's ugly mugs. We got James Campbell coming in here. Darius Washington should have been drafted. I know what you're saying, and Eric, I also hear what you're saying earlier about like you're surprised, but like he's teeny tiny and he tested really poor. NFL teams a lot of times are like, well, if you're small, you better be a damn good athlete. And if you are not a great athlete, you better have something else like length or size that is required for your position. He had neither. He went undrafted. I mean, that's how it goes. A lot of teams have size thresholds. A lot of teams have athletic thresholds. He must have not met either of them. So here we are. Stephen Bumgarner. Hey, guys, Drew Lock is my quarterback. Malachi Martin coming in here. Eric, why didn't we get Dylan Moses?
I hope that he's able to overcome it and everything, but everything is those knees are basically done for. And after the draft was over, like after Denver's last pick, I shot a quick text about it, and there's already talk about him needing knee replacements. Like,
oh my God,
it's bad.
Oh man, we got Nick Kendall's number one stand coming in here. I feel like Caden Stern is being overlooked. He's a freak athlete. If he develops, he'll be great. One comment from Dane Brugler that kind of made me a little bit nervous about Caden Stern is that his junior year, he was still looking at and reading highlights and pieces on him from his freshman season. So a dude that, you were a highly rated recruit. We know that you went to Texas, but it's time to work, right? You're a 5th round pick. What you did doesn't really matter at this point. Obviously the pedigree does matter a little bit, but like, if you want to stick in this league, you're going to have to put up. You're going to have to go out there and show it.
Yeah, and I was reading over the comments of his press conference or his interviews, I guess, not really a press conference. And he seems to understand that. He seems to have his head down, ready to go to work, was very apt with what his weaknesses are, didn't shy away from what he was saying. I mean, he dinged himself really hard for his tackling, and like Jamar Johnson did as well. So I have some hope for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got hope from John Houston giving us the $2 super over on YouTube. Thank you very much, John. Caden Stern's athletic and could play cornerback. That's interesting to me. Obviously, the Vic Fangio defense, the cover 4, cover 6, match quarters, whatever you want to call it, the 2 deep safeties. Your defensive backs have to be a little bit, what's the word? Amorphous, something like that, where it's like you have to be able to wear different hats, right? Inside, outside, safety, especially those safeties as well. So could he play cornerback? I bet you there's going to be some snaps out there, just like what we saw with Kareem Jackson, where there's some boundary snaps from Kareem Jackson from time to time. It's not mainly what he's asked to do, but if you can do that in this defense, that's important. Honestly, the one thing that Vic Fangio doesn't really ask from his safeties is the box snaps. Hello, everybody asking for a box safety. What are we doing here? So Caden Stearns, could he play cornerback? I think he could take some reps at a cornerback, but I don't see him as a cornerback.
Yeah, I'd put the over under on 20, and I'd take the under on that. Just
Are you
not something that
including
I.
nickel?
No, I'm talking boundary,
Okay, yeah,
specifically
yeah,
boundary. I
yeah,
think he'll drop down to the nickel a little bit
yes.
more, but on the boundary, taking 20 as the over under, and I'm taking the under.
There'll probably be some snaps where if running backs flexed out, or the Broncos are doing something weird up front, or a tight end's flexed out. Okay, Stearns, go walk over. That's your guy for this one. Obviously, you got some help over the top too. So there we are. We got in the shop, Willie. Still, man, I feel like you are trying to manifest non-greatness here, Willie. I'm telling you, we ain't getting Rodgers. Don't make me sad. I'm in a manic state right now. I will cry on air, especially for supers. So don't make me do that. We got K Shaguki TV saying, "Hey Nick and Eric, thank you for your kind words to me on Twitter. I am going to focus on getting better, and my dad well. The sick little bug is no joke, and it's devastated so many people. So I don't know if it's comforting at all to you to know that you aren't alone. But if you need anything, man, or just somebody to talk and distract yourself while you're getting over this, hit us up on Twitter, because Eric and I, we love Twitter, and rile us up, man. It's a good time. But feel better, man, and your dad.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And I know, Eric, you probably, you and John Houston there sharing a brain. As you guys know, I'm sad that we passed on Molden. I miss him. Pour one out, everyone. Molden, where did he end up going? Somebody in the chat. Was it Washington football team? I don't remember off the top of my head. Somebody in the chat let us know.
I want to say Tennessee or Seattle.
Oh, it was Tennessee. Yep, we talked about him being a good fit there. They went Molden and Caleb Farley. Man, they stole our pre-free agency mock drafts going on there with the two cornerbacks. Good for them. Good for them. Hopefully he has a good career, man. I'm a Dogs fan now out in Seattle. I got to get to a game.
I think Elijah Molden is about the only thing John Houston and I see eye to eye on. I mean, I see your comments over on Mile High Huddle and you ripping me to shreds for some of my takes, man. I see it.
That's great. That's good, man. You, Eric and I, if you can't handle criticism at this point, then what are you doing, right? That's the difference of opinions, and you're gonna hear it from all walks of life. All you can do is laugh about it. Speaking of all walks of life, Paul coming in here. Paul, the man, the myth, the legend. I love you, Paul. Man, I can't speak highly enough about it, man. He's been big supporters of Carl and myself. He says, "Great work, guys. Great draft. Paton really bolstered the defensive back position. Were you surprised Cooper lasted that long?" I'm going to answer that real quick. I guess maybe a little bit surprised, but he is a guy who had some serious injuries. He had like heart arrhythmia too that he had to have surgery on. That's a concern. He's not the lengthiest edge rusher, and it just never really, everything really clicked for him at Ohio State. So I think he could have gone in the 6th or 7th round, right? So like, am I surprised if he went in the 6th? I wouldn't have been surprised if he went in the 7th. I'm not surprised. So not really, but I'm happy to get him. Also, it really seems cool. Him and Browning are absolutely crushing on each other. They seem like best buds. I think also Cooper's a 2-time captain. He was awarded the black shirt for Ohio State. So I'm really excited to get him. And Browning seemed just to be over the moon that Cooper's joining him in Denver.
Yeah, lack of length, the heart stuff, the injuries, and then adding the fact that he's just not the strongest of run defenders. It was kind of what you said with Ardarius Washington and him falling undrafted. Some teams have those requirements, and at some point they're willing to ease up a little bit. And it seemed that with Cooper, he didn't meet them, but round 7, you're willing to ease up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And I mean, he's another one that's just like bursting with positive character influence, work ethic. He's one that's going to come in and people are going to love him. I mean, there's a lot of anonymous quotes out there where Ohio State coaches are like screaming from the top of the table, "Cooper's my dude." So I'm excited for that. Even if he's, just a rotational guy, or even a practice, or a guy who's not active on game day, having a guy that's coming in and working super hard at the bottom of the roster where like people above him are like, man, if I don't get out there and get that extra rep in or finish this drill, Cooper could snip me at my spot. So pushes everybody, right? Top to bottom. You want those guys working, or bottom to top. We got Corey Johnson coming in here over on YouTube. Appreciate you, Corey. Hope you're doing well. I know everyone wants to talk about the number 1 defense this season. We are probably still bottom 5 versus the tight end, and we really need Baron Browning to overperform by a lot to have our hopes of a number 1 defense. Corey, I guess I'll answer Corey's question through you, Eric. Who was the number 1 defense in the NFL last season?
I actually don't know. I don't
by DVOA. It's this defensive coordinator was able to get a head coaching gig after 1 season because they were so good. The Rams. Name me the Rams starting off-ball linebackers.
I was about to say Corey Littleton, but no, he went to Raiders. Man, I don't. I can't.
Micah Kaiser? I think Kenny Young maybe had some snaps there. The point being, you do not have to have great linebackers to have the number one defense in the NFL. It definitely is a concern in the AFC West versus Darren Waller versus Travis Kelce. But we saw just with the Rams last year running this exact same defense that if the rest of the roster functions well, it's more about the synergy of the entire unit. If you can get after the passer with 4 guys, guess what? You can drop more guys to focus on those tight ends. If your cornerbacks on the outside are able to do their job, you don't have to rotate safeties over as much. You can kind of clog those the hash marks in the middle of the field to stop those tight ends. Darren Waller and Travis Kelce are good enough that they're going to get theirs. That's like, oh man, why can't anybody stop LeBron James? It's freaking LeBron James. Like it's like, sorry to throw a cross sports reference there, but like he's going to get his. It's just going to happen. He's that good. Can you limit the damage? That's what matters. And there's nobody in the NFL, no player in the NFL besides maybe Derwin James that can single-handedly stop a tight end. It just doesn't exist. It's going to take the rest of the defense to do it up. And the way the Broncos attack the defensive backs, I think they got a chance to isolate the tight end and slow them down a little bit more because they have so much more depth back there.
I'm just a little upset that you didn't address LeBron James as LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
We got Boom coming in here from Diamond Rattler. Diamond and in the shop, Will, you guys should be friends because you guys like to tease me, and I love it. John Houston coming back in. Watch the Packers sign Jordan Rodgers. Petty. I am here for it, Houston. That is great. Ann Rivera saying the Niners already passed on Rodgers in the draft. Rodgers to the Broncos. Well, Rodgers did grow up a 49ers fan, and I bet you he would be quite interested in working with Kyle Shanahan. But after all the capital the 49ers gave up, that investment in Trey Lance, they gave up their future capital too, which is probably what you would need to go get an Aaron Rodgers to make it make sense, right? Like you don't want to gut your entire roster because it's not like Deshaun Watson where if like you give away some current pieces, okay, you have 10, 15 years with him. Rodgers, you need to go now. 37 years old, you got 3-4 years. You don't want to take away from what makes you good now because then you're hurting yourself. So that's my opinion at least. But thank you for the comment there, and we appreciate you. You've been rocking with us all weekend. Jay Roper in the house. Jay, how you doing? We got New Orleans don't got the cap space. I don't know what we're talking about with New Orleans, but I agree with you. They do not got the cap space. So yeah, Eric, I want to hear it so far. I'm going to go through the comments here for a second. Let's find some more stuff, but I want you to take over for a second. Talk to me about this undrafted free agent class. We obviously went over some names. There's more trickling in. Do you have anybody in here that and that wasn't even a pun. I mean, it was, but not on purpose. Do you have any that you had watched and B, that really stick out to you? Because obviously you can't get to everybody, even in a class with only 650 people. Some of them you can't get the tape. But anybody that sticks out to you so far from the Broncos undrafted free agents?
Of guys that I watched that I've seen that they've drafted, there is Himmelman, who I like a bit as undrafted. That's where I had him going. I believe he was a high priority for undrafted free agent for me as well. Really fits with what Mike Munchak likes to get for his developmental tackles, as I said earlier. And then there was a defensive back. I can't remember what school, but Mac McCain. Very feisty, physical guy. Fits with that mold that Vic Fangio likes. And I like that aspect of it. George Paton, even during the draft, he was looking for guys that fit the style, the play style that these coaches want to have. I love that. Mac McCain was a guy. And I saw somebody say Curtis Robinson as well. I liked him. I didn't do enough to focus on him and give him a grade. I caught him when I was watching some other defenders on Stanford, Paulson Adebo, who I didn't like, and Jordan Fox, his teammate. And Jordan Fox, I wouldn't mind taking a shot on because he would have been direct competition with Justin Cernod because they're the same player.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Honestly, Justin Cernod and Jabril Cox are pretty similar too. Obviously, I think Jabril Cox is a little bit more athletic, but Jabril Cox, really smooth in coverage, not a very twitched up player, right? Like if you see him going, it's kind of like the cartoon where like the legs are running and then you see him go, right? He's got like the build-up speed before going. But we got North Carolina A&T running back from Richie Rich. I want to get to this one from Jay Roper here saying the scouting department deserves more credit. Absolutely. But I kind of want to pivot this to a different talking point. George Paton, first-year general manager, came in, obviously had a lot of infrastructure already set. However, the way it goes in the NFL, because there's already so much work done in the draft class, they get a lot of guys in the scouting department, but just the name of the game, a lot of these guys are going to be let go. It's not fault of them. It's just Paton bringing in his own guys that he knows, guys that I'm sure Spielman also probably would help him with, saying, hey, this guy deserves a shot, et cetera, et cetera. So at least that's my understanding. Is that correct, Eric? There's going to be some turnover in the personnel department just because of Paton. And it only happens after the draft because you don't want to start back at zero when you're already at like 80% of the work done.
Yeah, definitely. That is exactly true. And with saying the scouting department deserves more credit, the first thing George Paton did was he came out and he named them by name. Even the interns, he was thanking them all in the scouting department and the analytical department. They're definitely getting credit. And you're right. I still think they deserve more. I mean, this year, with how limited things were with coaches being able to see him, like the scouting department deserves so much credit because throughout the league, the scouting department was trusted a lot more than than the coaching staffs were. And real quick, I just wanted to grab this comment from
back to you,
Ben saying Broncos fan of Wisconsin, Packers fans are losing their mind right now, angry with Rodgers and saying he should leave if he doesn't want to be here. He's trying.
He doesn't want to be here. That's the thing. And I feel like a lot of Packers fans, on the other hand, are irritated with the Packers management and what they've decided to do. I have some friends, some really good friends who are Packer fans, and they're kind of in like stages of grief, like not accepting it, bargaining, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of them are mad at the Packers themselves. I mean, if you spend a draft where you trade up for a quarterback like Jordan Love, which I don't think is a bad process, but to not even like bring Rodgers in the fold as well, and also you have a short window with a Hall of Fame level quarterback who just won the MVP as well. Man, talk about like, I get it going after a quarterback, but like if you have that level of quarterback and you are not going for it, I think you are really doing that player a disservice and your fans a disservice, right? Like if you have that caliber guy and that window's shrinking, go. Like if you have a few years of bad after that, okay, that's fine. And I know like, oh, they went from Favre to Rodgers and they want to go from Rodgers to Love. If Love hits, okay, the Packers called it, and that works great. Rodgers is still great. I would be pissed if I was him too. So we got Mo coming in here, naming a bunch of offensive tackles. I'll just run through some of them here. Okung, Fisher, Villanueva, Kelly, Wagner, Dotson, Clark, Young, Newhouse, Gilbert, Afidi, James Hurst are some tackles available. Sorry, the line cut off there, threw me off. Go ahead.
And one guy that's not named on there that I would be really looking at, Alexander Villanueva. I think he's going to be Baltimore probably in the next couple of days. That seemed to be the caveat with the Orlando Brown trade. But Mitchell Schwartz, if you can get Aaron Rodgers, like I wouldn't mind bringing Mitchell Schwartz in.
No, yeah, 100%. Aaron Medrano coming in here. He said, hey, where's Zach and Chad? You got Nick and Eric today, Aaron. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us today. We got a question here. We got to get these supers. They're starting to stack up. I don't want to only focus on supers because you don't have to just donate to get your comments right here and interact. But you guys can interact with each other as well. Don't forget that. Josh Batts coming in here over on Facebook. If you guys are joining us on Facebook, click those thumbs up. Do you think Quinn can start at center this year? Interesting. Well, I would probably say no, but I also did not think he would do what he did at the Senior Bowl. Now, I think it's important to note at the Senior Bowl, and you tend to see this as year to year when there are weaker classes, you don't want to overrate, let's say like this year, the defensive line, the interior defensive line, the interior offensive linemen are going to look better at the Senior Bowl because they're going against lesser guys. There's not Javon Kinlaw out there absolutely destroying people, but Miners was very good at the Senior Bowl. And don't correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first time he played center. Or was snapping balls was at the Senior Bowl. Crazy. Like he was out in Mobile at like the hotel snapping balls for the first time. But do you think he can start at center? Eric, I'll kick it to you. I'm going to go with he can. I think it's going to be kind of like when you don't see a rookie quarterback until like closer to the end of the year. It's if Lloyd Cushenberry is still struggling. They think Miners is ready to go. I would not expect him to be the week 1 starter, but could he be starting by week, I guess it'd be 18 this year, week 18? Yeah, I think so.
I think that, again, I'm with you. I think it's possible. I don't think he will. I think the jumping competition, even though he did well at the Senior Bowl, and the technique of snapping the ball, he still has to get that down. So there's definitely a lot to keep him from there. But what he has going for him is there's been some rumblings that the coaching staff may view Lloyd Cushenberry as a little too soft. And if you go watch his run blocking last year, you can see it. It's very obvious to me. And Quinn Miners, he's definitely not soft. So I think the attitude aspect of it, that would be what gets him out there and then just go through the growing pains. But I'm not saying like end of the season, but maybe week 8, week 9, depending on how the season's going, if Lloyd Cushenberry's struggling, I can see him getting that yank for on the leash, and then Quinn Miners getting put in.
Absolutely. And I mean, Moody's still in there as well. Maybe you'll see Glasgow move around. And 18 game or 17 game season, 18 weeks this year. Your depth is going to be tested and tried more than ever before because there's one more game where an injury can happen. So you might see him even because just bad circumstances. So we got Richie Rich coming in here. Good circumstances over on YouTube. Curious to your guys' overall thoughts on the benefits or drawbacks to trading up and targeting key guys versus doing what we saw Peyton do. Feedback. I have a take here, and it's that I don't think teams should be overconfident in their evaluation. We have the data showing that, even when you have these top picks, it's really a Russian roulette going on here where you don't know if they're going to hit. So don't be overconfident in your evaluation. It's more important to have higher picks, obviously, but more picks, more shots at the dart, because there's always those pathways and variables that you can't foresee, injuries, stuff happening off the field, guys just not working out. So obviously, I think the only time it doesn't work like that is for quarterback, just because it's so valuable that if you see a guy within striking distance that you love, go get him. But for every other position, personally, I'm not in the camp of trading up and targeting your guy. I would rather see how the board falls and keep those assets if at all possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm always a bigger component of trading back, letting the board fall to you, and instead of moving up, unless it's for a quarterback. That's about the only time I kind of go away from that philosophy, which is the one reason why the trade up for Javonte Williams bothers me. Very big.
Yeah.
I mean, I share the same philosophy as George Paton. The more darts you have.
Yep. And the only time I think it's a little different is for quarterback. Malcolm Brown saying grandson doesn't have a second wind. He is napping. Well, Malcolm, maybe you should get a nap. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We got Andy Cowick coming in here. Andy rocking with us. Thoughts on which of the two safeties will see more playing time on defense year one? Thinking both will contribute on special teams. This is a good question. I'm going to lean with Caden Stearns because I think Jamar Johnson, he's one that obviously has ball skills. You see not just ball skills, it's like the instincts to find that football too. But with this defense, you need full-on tacklers. You can't have plus ones in the tackling department. Jamar Johnson's going to have to clean that up. I don't trust him all the way there yet. I trust Caden Stearns tackling a little bit more. So I think he's probably the safer bet just because of the tackling. And somebody asked earlier, is Jamar Johnson, oh, here we go, Chase Warner. Jamar Johnson, a bad tackler, as people are saying? He struggles with it. He's a one-year starter. I think it can be cleaned up, but he's got some work to do there. And Vic Fangio will let him know. Ed Donatell will let him know.
I'm with you on Caden Stearns and I think that Gunner is perfect for him.
Yeah.
It's just his is just that you just need the technique just cleaned up a little bit and consistency with the technique. And then 100%. With Jamar Johnson, his issue is that he just needs the reps. Like, so he's got to get the reps to help him get that consistency and that feel for it.
100%. Sports Crush coming in here over on YouTube with the $5 super. I know Surtain, I said it right. I know Surtain is cool and all, but I am literally drooling over Javonte Williams. Thoughts on him, guys? Looks more like a PBR, which is good for Shermer. A power run, or PBR, I got beer in the mind. PRB, which is good for Shermer. I'm like, oh man, a PBR. He's just classic. He's blue collar. He's tough. He's dependable. So PBR brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon. Definitely a power running back. Eric, I want to hear. Obviously, it's the draft season right now. Everything's rosy. Everything's good. And I'm going to clip this so you can become a hater. But no, I'm just kidding. What are the reasons that Javonte Williams doesn't work out? What are the concerns here? Because obviously, he's a very talented running back. I like him a heck of a lot. I think he's better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know he was your boy last year. I just think he's so powerful. And it's his balance, right? This dude is has so much balance. It's not Alvin Kamara level, but his balance is incredible. But why wouldn't Javonte Williams work out in the Denver Broncos or for the Denver Broncos?
Well, I just want to say is, if I remember correctly, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a second-round grade for me. Javonte Williams was the first, so I definitely like him more than Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well.
There you go.
Now, outside of things that we can't see, so not talking injuries, not talking something
character
else,
stuff that happens,
not talking that on the field, strictly on the field. What could keep him from being a successful guy? I think that he doesn't have the best long speed, and sometimes his burst getting through the hole can be a little inconsistent, and he can be a little bit too patient at times. This is kind of something that we saw with Trent Richardson. He just would get a little bit too patient, wouldn't see the hole and burst through it, and didn't have that long speed to break away. If he fails for a football reason, I think that's why.
Yeah. I think the vision is very important. The vision and the patience. He does run very hard. That's another thing with Quentin Miners in this offensive line, right? Like good running backs, and this was a concern with Derrick Henry coming out too, right? Like the vision, not always the most patient. And when the offensive line blocked it for him, he could do it. And once he got at that second level, good luck. But that's something I think true with Javonte Williams as well. You're going to need to invest in that interior offensive line, get some guys who can blow dudes off the ball. And I'm excited about the potential future of a guy like Moody and maybe Miners, center and right guard or center and left guard, and then Williams having space to get to that second level. And then it's him against a safety, him against a nickelback, dishing out pain. It'll be fun. Based Gase coming in here. Good to see you, Based. How you doing? Time for that Based Salah coming in here. We went into the class needing a quarterback and a tackle, and we got neither. Solid draft class nonetheless, but B- for me. I hear you, Based Gase. But the Broncos didn't have enough high draft picks to fill out every single need. That's true for every team. But still, you don't want to go into the draft thinking as much about the positions you have to fill versus getting the best players. Because once again, you don't want to be overconfident in your evaluation. You don't want to limit yourself to one singular position per draft slot. You want to have a more holistic view than that. So I agree with you. And the Broncos were interested in a quarterback in this draft class. He went number 3 overall. The Broncos got sniped for 2 offensive tackles by the Buffalo Bills. Sometimes it works that way. I mean, you can't control what the other teams are doing, but I hear you. B-, that's a fair grade. I'm glad you're not over here being, unfair. I'm also not going to hold it against anybody for giving them an A+ for this. Great job. That's your opinion.
And as you said, it's just how the board fell to them. They wanted it, but as in the shop, Willie keeps reminding us, they're just going to go get Aaron Rodgers. So that's why they passed on the quarterback.
Oh, man. Trolling. Swink McLeod coming in here over on YouTube with a $10 super swink. We see you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. I think all 3 days, honestly. Which 2 of the Broncos picks have the highest ceiling? Baron Browning, one of the most athletic players ever recorded in the common draft era. I mean, it's crazy, but it's true. I think you and I are going to disagree, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. I do think he can play off-ball linebacker. My gut tells me he's going to end up as a Sam, as a 3-4 Sam, as a 2-point. That's just my gut. I think because the processing stuff going on there and just how explosive he is, and he's got length, right? He's got all these things that are like, man, if he would have had more edge reps at Ohio State, we might be talking about a really good edge rush. I think John Ledyard said that if Baron Browning had played edge at Ohio State, he would have been the edge 2 in this class. I don't think about that high, but we'll see. But him, and then the second one with the highest ceiling, man, is it fair to say? I mean, Surtain is safe, but he also has extremely high ceiling, right? Like he's so smart. He's got good footwork. He's long. He's a good athlete. Maybe not the twitchiest guy, but I think everything going there. I think he has a super high ceiling as well. I was going to go Miners, but that's just too crazy. I think it's got to be Surtain and then Browning.
With Browning, he was with RAS the fifth best score out of 2,100.
Something absolutely insane. He's in the 99th percentile. Yeah.
And my thing is maybe he does end up at edge.
Yeah.
I didn't like him so much at edge as I did off ball. I think just his natural athleticism and coverage can just make up for so much. And the improvement with the reads, I think that's going to come. But he's definitely going to get the shot at off ball linebacker first. Vic Fangio said that. And he's one of my 2 as well with the highest ceiling. And my second one, I think this is going to catch you off guard a little bit. Jamar Johnson. This is a guy that I like a lot, and he's got a really high ceiling, limited experience, and the tackling is a concern there. But if he can get that tackling fixed with his play and coverage and his range and his athleticism, I like his ceiling.
Yeah, and we got Cal coming in here saying, "One of you guys wink at the camera." Eric, oh man, it just get hot in here. Goodness, I'm gonna have to building the Broncos after dark. Whoo! But no, it's a Nick at night. We're getting in here in the shop with Willie saying, "Be sad, Nick." Impossible. We just had a really fun time doing the draft. So I'm like I said, I'm riding that high right now. We're going all the way.
And speaking of in the shop, Willie, I just want to grab this, and we fighting now too, Eric. Hey, Luke's not here, so I'm just taking his place, poking some fun back at you for his sake.
You have to. You have to. We also had Ann Rivera coming in here saying, "Nick and Eric going strong. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody in here. It's been a great draft. We probably should go over the draft. We've almost been an hour here, but we don't want to miss any super chats. Let me scroll down here to see if we have any in the Oh, one just came in. Glenn Hauser right away. Thanks for all the hard work to educate us all. Truly appreciate it. Hashtag this draft class. Hashtag damn. Well, man, thank you very much, Glenn. We appreciate you. You have to say damn that way to appreciate it. Oh, and here we go. Think George Paton will fire his nephew. LOL. Is his nephew on the staff already, or was he with the Broncos? I don't know who his nephew is.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go with just for the chaos. Yes, he's going to fire him. Cut off everything. He's just learning from Aaron Rodgers. Cut off all family ties. No nepotism. We're done.
No, that's just part of the plan to bring Aaron Rodgers here. He's going to cut off his family just because so he can show that Aaron Rodgers isn't alone in that.
Oh, Ryan's saying don't wink. Well, we should have seen that before, Ryan. Also, guys, D Brown is coming in here saying like the videos. Heck yeah, we'd appreciate that if you guys did that. And we have Sertan Browning or Caleb Schaff coming in here saying Sertan Browning and Miners were 7, 8, and 9 with Ross scores, so really did a good job. And all those guys also extremely high character. God, that's fantastic. I'm so excited about that as well. I mean, to get good athletes that are also raved about for their work on the field and how serious they are about their craft off the field at the same time, man, I am excited about that. And you laughing about something? Let's pull it up.
Charlie Beagle came in and mentioned about going to trade his nephew, traded to Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers. Straight up, I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Malachi Martin coming in here saying, do you think analytics went into these picks? If they didn't, fire the whole team because then you're going into the draft blind. You want to have take every advantage as you possibly can. Some analytics are stupid, but ones that have been proven to be predictive, you better well use them because otherwise that's like making a decision, guessing behind a door, right? Like pick which door, but you're not using analytics. So if you use the analytics, you got a better idea what's behind each door. You want to get as much information as possible to make the most educated choice. Doesn't mean you're going to get it right, but information is good, and analytics probably leading the way there right now.
Yeah, the behind the Broncos, the latest one before the draft.
Yeah,
you got to hear from Scott Flaska. I mean, yeah, analytics were a big part of it. Much more of this draft process went to analytics and the scouting department than we saw with John Elway out of all the years. Yeah, he started to use analytics a little bit more, but he was still one of those guys that trust the tape. Paton, he trusts the tape, but he uses analytics to back up what he's seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Jay Kozad coming in here saying, I think it took more balls to not draft Fields than to draft him. Paton is going to be linked to Fields. And I think I'm going to add a caveat there, Jay. Paton will be linked to Fields as long as the Broncos are wandering the desert that is QB purgatory. Now, if he gets his guy, that's okay. Like, have we heard very much about the Buffalo Bills trading the pick that ended up being Patrick Mahomes? No, we haven't. Why? They got their guy. So if Paton can get his quarterback, you're not gonna care that he passed on Justin Fields. Probably. I mean, maybe if they trade for Aaron Rodgers and then 10 years from now Justin Fields is the best quarterback in football, that might be a different conversation. But I think that that's only an issue if you are in the position where the Broncos have been the last 5 years. That's why everybody brings up Josh Allen. It's because the Broncos have been bad at quarterback, and because of that, the offense has been bad. It's everybody like, it starts with the offensive line, coaching. Well, you know what helps make mediocre offensive lines look good and mediocre coaches look good? Good quarterback play.
And as you said, it all depends on if they get their guy, and also depends on if George Paton uses Manscaped.
Oh man. Well, we gotta ask him next time I see him. We'll have Luke ask him at a presser down there in Denver. Zach Phillips coming in here over on YouTube. If you guys are joining us on YouTube today, please like, subscribe, and share. Almost as if Paton drafted knowing he would pursue a quarterback. Rodgers, Watson, Wilson. Well, I'm not sure about Watson, but I am really curious. Obviously, the Broncos have been linked with Rodgers. Wilson, I'm really curious what's going to happen with Wilson because the teams that he was linked to are in weird situations. Obviously, it was the Chicago Bears. They got Justin Fields. I mean, maybe they flipped Justin Fields for Russell Wilson after a year. Okay, maybe, but I don't know. I think they drafted Russell Wilson. I think that's their guy. The Raiders, not only did they have a laughable draft class, not only is their defense horrible, not only is their offensive line just completely gutted, it sounds like there's all out anarchy in that front office there. And Gruden is going rogue, as they say. Is he going to work with Rodgers or Wilson? I mean, would Wilson want to go there? I don't know. He listed them, but I don't know. That seems dumb to me.
And real quick, just to interject, talking about that offensive line, the big issue with Russell Wilson in Seattle is that they haven't bettered the offensive line.
Yeah.
He's tired of
Yep.
running for his life.
Yep. And then New Orleans, that's a team that they keep kicking the can down the road. That team seems like they're really they could bottom out, right? They could easily bottom out here. I think that Peyton is a good coach, but even the best coaches, if they have issues at quarterback and the rest of the roster, Bill Belichick, they tend to really regress. I mean, you know what makes Hall of Fame coaches Hall of Fame players. So I'm curious to see what happens with Wilson now that these teams that he's listed as his interests have some issues. We'll just call it as it is. They have some issues. No issues here coming in from Glenn Hauser. You two have been on my screen more time than Guy Fieri this week. Hashtag for Summit. Hashtag Eric's Funko Fund. Eric, how many Funkos do you own?
Last time I counted, and I've gotten quite a few more since then, I was over 400.
Did you say 400?
400. Over 400. It was like
Do you mind me
400. It was like 406, and I think I've since added like 13 more.
Whoa, that is a lot. Do you mind me asking just the estimate worth of your Funko collection?
Actually, the thing that I use actually calculates that it's over 5,000.
Man, you need to get it over 9,000. Then the last one you get is Vegeta, like crushing that reader. Holy Funko, yeah, indeed, man. I have nothing to add. Nothing to add. John Houston coming here. Why did the Raiders take 3 safeties? Adams bust? Question mark. Well, to the latter, maybe not a bust, but when you're playing zone defense and you have a defensive back going ad lib, talk about going rogue out there, making stuff up, freelance, you're going to have some issues. So, that's maybe a bust. Yes, I would say compared to his draft slide, he's a bust. But also, I can't remember all the safeties they took, but 2 of them for sure were more of free safeties. So while you're talking about Adams being a bust, he's much more, think about it like a good way. The Broncos don't do this. They have very much more similar safeties. Their 2 safeties they have to pretty much do the same things. But for the Raiders defense, cover 3 heavy is much more like the Seahawks, where you had Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. I know they're both listed as safeties, but that's like saying, gosh, I don't know. LeBron James as a small forward versus LaMarcus Aldridge as like a power forward. Like, they both have that name, but they play very different things. They're different body types, different roles. They're both safeties, but they are not the same. Very different boxes, asked to do different things. Not true for Denver. 2 deep safeties. That's why everybody's screaming for a box safety. It's probably not happening. But that's the thing here. Adams bust. They're looking for a free safety there. That single high canopy guy.
Abrams.
What did I say? Abraham?
Adams. You kept saying Adams.
Abrams. See, I think a box safety and I think a Jamal Adams.
So with the Raiders, as much crap as we give them, one thing that I will give them credit for is they don't hang on to failed picks very long. Once they fail, they pretty much move on. Abrams, wouldn't be surprised me if he's next. They went and they got themselves their Abrams replacement in Divine Diablo, and they went and got themselves those 2 single high guys. And Tyree Gillespie, he has a little bit more potential than just a single high guy. But Merrick and him, like, they did a lot of work on that safety room. As much hate as they got, like, they weren't terrible picks. I think that they were reaches, like, but for what they want to do in that secondary, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Gary Leeds Palmer. If you guys want to get your thing flashed, just gas us up, right? That's what we have big egos in here. No, I'm just kidding. Some love for the 2 of the hardest working dudes on MHH. We got him fooled, Eric. I got you guys fooled. I'm just here blowing hot air, just every single. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much, Gary. We appreciate that. We appreciate that a lot. Go ahead.
Why don't you tell them the truth? There's somebody there with their hand up, just moving your mouth.
I'm actually a simulation. I don't even exist.
Is that a simulation?
Yes. No. Oh gosh. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. We also got Nelson coming in here saying you 2 are my fave personalities on the channel, the 2 goats of the podcast today. We appreciate that. I mean, Eric and I don't get a chance to do enough crossover pods. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time with him, and jump at the chance when we can do that. Obviously, love Carl, love Luke, love Lance as well, but it's always a good time. Where's that hand? Brought to you by the ball wipes. No, the crop mops, excuse me. But Broncos country YouTubers, huh? And take a vacation, long weekend, guys. I won't be here 2 weeks from now on May 16th because I will be 20 miles into the Olympic Peninsula in the Enchanted Valley doing a backpacking trick. So there we go. And here we go from In the Shop of Louie. We know you're just hot air, Nick. Well, sometimes that's true. So Eric, I think we're already getting here. This hour has absolutely flown by. I would really like to actually go over the Broncos draft class, and then if any supers come, we can come back to them. But I really want to go pick by pick and kind of just talk about the paragraph via words of like their fit, expectations, and just leave the grades. We'll leave the grades out there, but just kind of the fit and expectations, year one and career. So first, Patrick Surtain, drafted 9 overall. Oh my God, Patrick Surtain. It's in my head wrong. Joe Manick saying Olympic is awesome. Enjoy. Thank you very much, Joe. I've been there a few times. I did backpacking up to the Blue Glacier along the Hoh River, and that was incredible as well. I'm so excited to get back out there. But Patrick Surtain, Eric, what do you think? Year one, long-term projections. I know you're not the biggest fit of the scheme fit. I think it's going to work. I know we've had back and forth, and I have been yo-yoing with Surtain since forever. You and I back and forth in the chat. Like, I think it can work. No, I've done a great fit. Okay, you're right. But he's so smart. And the length, Prince of Mukamara, like all these things, I think it can work pretty well still, even though I'm not the best scheme fit.
There's ways for what the base thing of what Vic Fangio does, the match quarters, no, he's not a fit. Like, he just doesn't have the hip fluidity. He doesn't have that short area agility and burst. But Vic Fangio, he's shown he's willing to adjust his scheme. And that's where we can see him fit. Him talking about playing the nickel does scare me a little bit. But hey, if maybe that's their answer for tight ends right there. With the other guys they have, maybe that's what they're looking at him for him to do. Playing off, though, to cover up for those hips, that lack of agility, the twitchiness that he doesn't really have. What he can make up for with that is his outstanding footwork. That can cover up so much when playing off, because it makes it easy to cover up. Like, I don't know how the best way to put this into words is really, but a mistake with your dropbacks and flipping your hips and turning, if you have the footwork, it can cover up about that, those issues there. And the physicality's there. I know I'm on record for not really liking his fit and everything like that. And maybe I've talked myself into it. I do like this pick. Like, I'm fine with it. And as I said, I mean, Vic Fangio and them, there's a reason I don't work for an NFL team besides the fact that I just don't want to. Like, there's a reason why I don't.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they do. They see something in him that I don't, that they really like. Maybe it is just the excellent footwork. I don't know, but there's a reason why they have those jobs.
I mean, he tested really well. It's not like he has an issue with long speed. He's just not the twitchiest guy and short area quickness. But Surtain, I think, also has, I said it right, everybody, thank you. Surtain does have self-awareness. That was honestly one of the first things he mentioned in his press conference. Is like, I know I got to get a little bit quicker coming downhill in my change of direction. So that's something I would be, at least there's that there. And also, I know we said it earlier on the live stream, but I guess it's a live stream too, but on the 7-hour marathon day 3 one. But Nick Saban said that a lot of times he would go up to Surtain and throw him like a situation or a coverage or whatever. And he's saying, what's the type of coverage that you would want to utilize here? And every time Surtain would get it right. So Surtain's also extremely intelligent. You need some smart guys in the back 7 here for this defense, given how connected everybody is. And you have to read things properly, kind of like how that matchup zone works with Wade Phillips. You're going to see that with match quarters as well. It becomes man when guys come in your zone. So thank you very much. And thanks, Zach. Also, I'm leaving that comment up here. David Kilgore, we'll get to this one quick because who was it here? Charlie Beagle saying that we're going to milk the Rodgers thing for the next month, according to his sources. You know what? The chat tends to dictate where we go there. And I can only speak for my own podcasts or live stream. So I can't speak for the other ones, but I'll try to, I mean, honestly, thank God for the Deshaun Watson stuff, or not the stuff that's come out about him, but because he was linked to the Broncos. Because imagine if we were talking Drew Lock versus rookie quarterback class for like that entire month. That would have been, it already got long, right? It already got long. We didn't have to do it the whole time. But David, thank you again. $5 super. Any news on the Rodgers thing lately? It sounds like it could very well happen, but we're going to see how it progresses into June 2nd, right? It could go either way. It could get tamed down a little bit. It could continue to flare up. we'll see. But it does sound like it's very much within the realm of possibility, despite what In the Shop with Willie will say in the chat based on that comment I just made. But that's what I'm interested in there. Oh no, Charlie. Charlie is just being a hater, man. Words to retire for a while. Twitch generational ceiling floor. Ross. Well, I'm out. No, I'm just kidding. Round 2, the Broncos ended up taking Javonte Williams. Good running back. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I'll take this one real quick since you talk Surtain. I think he's going to be a very good running back for the Broncos. I love how he just absolutely makes it personal for his pass blocking reps, right? Like you're talking about the Surtain, or excuse me, the Pat Shurmur offense. It's going to be a lot of just 5 offensive linemen dropping back so you can get more of those tight ends and wide receivers out there. What does that mean? That your running back there has to be able to be a dude and protect that quarterback because he's going to function as one of those +1 blockers. And that was an issue with Philip Lindsay. Honestly, like he tried his heart out. I'm not saying it's his fault that he's a bad blocker. It's just, he doesn't have the frame. He can't take on a free rushing linebacker like a Javonte Williams or a Melvin Gordon can. So I'm really excited to watch Javonte Williams there. It's an underappreciated aspect. I think he knows that, and he takes pass blocking seriously. And I'm curious to see how he can evolve as a pass catcher. Obviously the vision is something that I want to see more of, but I think it can get better. And I'm really excited to see the highlights with him because he's straight up fun in the open field. And I know say running backs don't matter, but I didn't say they weren't fun. So let's move on to the Broncos' third round pick, the first third round pick. Quinn Miners, it was one that I was personally hoping for Spencer Brown there. Give him a year to get ramped up with his athletic tools, maybe put on some more functional strength. But didn't work out that way. Still, we got a fun dude, Quinn Miners. Surprising pick. One that I was pretty surprised about. Eric, talk me through Quinn Miners for this team. How does it look here? What does it mean for the implications for the rest of this team?
I mean, he's physical. He's a guy that wants to go smash you in the mouth. He wants to go hit people and put them on the ground. I was listening to Jeff Schwartz's. You remember John Gruden's quarterback thing?
Yeah.
Jeff Schwartz did something with offensive linemen. Quinn Miners was one of them. I was listening to it, and the dude seems smart. He seems to know football and the nuances of it and all that. And one thing, we were talking about him taking snaps at the Senior Bowl for the first time. After every single time, he would turn to coaches and be like, all right, what do I need to do to be better at this? He knew what his weaknesses were, and he wants to be coached. He wants to be great. He's just that guy. What is it? What's the term? A lunch pail guy? Like, yeah, he's just that type of player. I like the attitude he's bringing. I like the fact he's not soft, and I love the belly.
Yeah, that's I'm really excited about it. And Cushenberry, I know he was talked up highly by Fangio and everything last year, saying he was a guy who improved a lot, smart dude, good length. But the gauntlet's been thrown down, I would say, with this draft pick. And there's no such thing as having too much quality depth. Let the best man win. I think Miners probably given the jump in competition. And also Cushenberry having a year already in the NFL. He should be easily the odds-on favorite. But you got to know that you got to work, right? It's kind of like a college football, right? It's very much like a good college 5 program where it's like you have a guy who's a good talent, blah, blah, blah. But like, make no mistake, as soon as I'm done with you this year and you sign on, I'm going to go out there and recruit your replacement. And he's coming for your job. So that's just the nature of it. And if you want to hold on to that, get better and go out there and compete and hold on to it. So we'll see what happens here. We got a super coming in from our super friend, Lance, coming in here. Man, I'm getting silly. It's been a long weekend. Lance coming with a $5 super over on YouTube. Want to give a massive shout out to our staff and to everyone who joined us this weekend. Lance, we appreciate you. Keep giving us supers. Just keep paying. Next time, though, just directly Venmo me. No, I appreciate you, Lance. We love you. Go ahead.
I just want to say a massive shout out. $5 isn't exactly massive, Lance. I mean, come on now.
No, it's every penny counts. We appreciate you. We love you, Lance, and everybody in the chat right now. You don't have to donate a darn thing. We appreciate you either way, but we'll definitely get to you if you do a super. Hana 3000 coming in here with peace and love. Drew Lock is an awful quarterback, and I pray every day we get a significant upgrade with peace and love. It's Hunter 3R Gather, by the way. Oh man, I know you, Hunter. You're a good Twitter follower. I appreciate you. We interact fairly often. Everyone go follow him now that his account's out there. Might as well hype him up, right? He's out here. So peace and love. Drew Lock is an awful quarterback. Well, I'll put it this way. I'm a good content, right? First take, whatever. Let me just take the opposite stance. Drew Lock has been bad. Doesn't mean he's going to be bad, right? Like, I would expect him to take a few steps forward this year. I don't think he's going to be a bottom 5 quarterback this season. The roster's too good. The offensive line should be better. The weapons should be that much better. Statistically speaking, he should be a better quarterback. I do worry about the potential and maybe even the probable reality where Drew Lock is in that like 25th to 15th best quarterback play, and you see him ascending, and then the Broncos are like, well, we don't want to go back to like playing the likes of like a Trevor Siemian out there, but like we don't want to make Drew Lock a highly paid quarterback. That's kind of scares me. We talk about him getting better. Okay, he's going to get better. Is he going to get better to the point where he deserves a second contract given what quarterbacks make? That's a harder question. I don't know. That one I'm more skeptical of than him being competent on his rookie deal.
Yeah, on that note, is I do agree. I do think that we will see better from Drew Lock this year.
Yeah.
I expect it. I think we will. Everything's pointing to that direction. How much better? You said bottom 5, but is bottom 6 really that much better? Like, and but no, I just don't see it to the point as I don't see him being able to get to past his ceiling. Really, sorry, Charlie. I'm using one of those.
Oh man,
no words.
Buzzword.
But is he going to take that step to where you feel like you can actually compete with him long term? Or as you said, is it that point where, okay, we don't want to take a step back. He's showing this progress. Maybe he'll show more progress. Let's pay him big money. And then he doesn't do it. That Andy Dalton situation, that Derek Carr situation. I don't want that. Like, and so it's not fair to Drew Lock. Like, I'll come out and say that. It isn't fair. I know it isn't fair, but I like the kid. I hope he is successful. I hope he turns it around. I just don't think that he will take this leap to where he's a guy who you can compete with. And his ceiling to me isn't a ceiling that's high enough to where unless everything is perfect, you're not competing.
Honestly, is his ceiling Ryan Fitzpatrick? Like puts the ball in harm's way, some fun highlights out there, but also some games where it's like he threw 6 interceptions and 2 of them went the wrong way. So he's going to get a contract. He's going to be in the league for a while. He has enough tools. He does enough nice things that people are going to keep giving him shots. It's not like Trevor Siemian, who I don't even know if it's in the league right now, or Paxton Lynch, who totally flamed out. But what do we want here, right? Like, what do we want for quarterback? What do you need in the AFC West? So we should move on here because too much Drew Lock talk can make people upset, and I don't want to do that. It's good vibes today. We had a good fun draft today. This weekend. Aaron said the Packers have become family. That's good for us. Hashtag sending presents back. Hashtag Jordan love surprise. Hashtag Green Bay is in jeopardy. Hashtag what is MVP from Glenn Hauser, $5. Glenn, that was one of the more creative supers I've seen this weekend. So I appreciate that. That was tickle my funny bone.
Got a laugh out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, talk about some G-rated trash talk. San Francisco 49ers coming in here. My Niners will kick your rear end. Well, Niners, I'm going to say something nice since you're out here being mean. I really like Trey Lance. I'm happy you traded up for him. I kind of wanted him myself, and I'm really hoping that he's successful because he seems like a great guy and a very fun quarterback, and the league will be better if he's a good quarterback. So take that.
I just want to say, San Francisco, you guys owe us. We gave you Adam Peters. You guys owe us.
We gave them Capri Bips, though. So I know, right?
I don't think that's an even trade.
No, I don't think so either. For a fifth, man. Oh, God bless. So we Baron Browning. This is probably my favorite pick of the draft. He was somebody I didn't expect to go this high or this late. Is he going to be an edge? Is he going to be an off ball? I'm really excited to see him in the league. I don't think it's going to be a Justin Holland situation where he's going to flame out, or not flame out, but the Broncos will move on from him. I think he's got a better path to being an off ball player. And if he doesn't work out, I really think he could be a good 3-4 linebacker. So Sam specifically, where like Vic Fangio especially, he's looking for a little bit more power guy on one side than a finesse guy that can drop back in coverage on the other. Well, that kind of reads like Baron Browning to me. And I went back and watched before bed. Oh man, just going to sleep watching highlights and clips. Baron Browning's clips at the as an edge rusher at the Senior Bowl. I'm telling you, Eric, this guy is shot out of a cannon. He is so explosive and he's long. I don't know if he's the most flexible bending the corner, but that's something you haven't really seen that much yet. But I'm really intrigued. I'm really intrigued with him at edge rusher, and I know that's going to tick off 80% of Broncos country because we thought we were getting an off-ball linebacker, Al Wilson. But like edge rusher is more valuable, and if that's where he lands, I wouldn't be upset at all.
And that's why I think that if you're looking at him to upgrade off ball, I think you're looking at it Alexander Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't succeed there, as Vic Fangio said, that's where they're going to try him first. If he doesn't succeed there, there's your Leonard Floyd.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's an interesting one. That is a really interesting one. And I see the SF49ers person appreciated our nice shout out there for Trey Lance. Pulling for him. Also, big Deebo Samuel fan. Big Deebo Samuel fan. So fun. Oh, no. Charlie's saying we can't use the word toolsy either. I'm sorry. Charlie, when NFL teams and scouts stop using these words to describe prospects, because they do, we'll stop. But we're just trying to use the terminology that's used in the biz.
We'll just start saying East Loot.
Excuse me?
We'll just start saying East Loot.
I think Eric had a stroke, guys. We got to get out of here.
Look at Toolsy backwards.
Oh, okay. What is going? He's finally broken down. I don't know what's happening. He's saying absolute nonsense. I'm looking for this $3.99. Okay, here it is. Bill Anderson coming in, $3.99 over on YouTube. We appreciate you, Bill. Shout out to you. He says Quinn and Moody are beasts on the inside. I mean, that could be very fun. Graham Glasgow, I think he could be moving on after this year. Obviously, we just had him on the pod. I'm pulling for him. He's a solid player, a good pass protector. But the Broncos have made some investments on young players, and Munchak's going to get the best out of them and best 5 play. And he also says equestrian, poultry, security device. So there we go. I was trying to, what can I go with here? Okay, Eric, now we're on to you. Broncos pick in the 5th round. The first one, talk to me a little bit of Caden Stearns. He's somebody that I wasn't exactly, you guys fed the troll up. SF49ers, we're going to mute you. You're starting to make the people upset in here. So be nice. You don't need the singular words comments. Caden Stearns, Eric, your thoughts here. What's the day one look like? What's the long-term projection?
I mean, day one, I think that number 3 safety, he's a jack of all trades type, and that's probably going to end up another banned word because that one gets thrown around a lot as well. But he just does a lot of things very well. Doesn't have an elite trait, really. He tested out better athletically than I thought he was. I mean, he's going to offer up some solid special teams play. You improve his tackling. That's going to be a big help. And his ceiling is maybe he's the guy to replace Kareem Jackson. But I think his floor is basically no matter what, you have a number 3 safety here.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I think this today probably put the end of Will Parks in Denver.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the reality of a lot of players, right? You see them in the rookie contract, and when they're super cheap, you can use them, but they move on once they get more expensive, and they're making those vet mins. So that's how it is, right? New blood in, or out with the old, in with the new. So life. Next pick is Jamar Johnson. He obviously had the phenomenal game against Justin Fields. He single-handedly, as Thor said, did the concession speech for Justin Fields' Heisman campaign this past year, which I thought was hilarious. Thor is a great follow on YouTube if you guys follow him. But Jamar Johnson has to work on his tackling, still pretty raw, not an amazing athlete, but if you're looking for a too high safety that can come down, I think he also has some slot ability as well. He's not the athlete that Caden Stearns is, but this Broncos defense last year was absolute horse bleep in takeaways. They have to be able to take the ball away at a better clip. Now, play with a lead, get better pass rush. Like, those will help, but getting some guys who have some ball skills in the back end will help also. So we'll see. It's going to be fun to watch Caden Stearns versus Jamar Johnson. And one of those guys is probably going to be the starter in 2022 opposite of Justin Simmons, because Kareem Jackson's here just for 1 year. And he's reaching the age where it's kind of concerning for him. You can see him fall off a cliff a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like Jamar Johnson. As I said, I think he's got the higher ceiling here. And it wouldn't shock me at all if he ends up starting over Caden Stearns because of that ceiling that he has. And I think it's a little bit easier for him to reach him because I trust his range and athleticism more than I trust Caden Stearns.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So a 6th round now, Seth Williams. How does he fit into the Broncos this year, and what's the long-term outlook?
I mean, this year, development. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to get a lot of snaps on the field outside of maybe special teams as a gunner potentially. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy for down the road a year from now. Tim Patrick or Cortland Sutton, my guess is Tim Patrick, they're gone. Well, there you go. You have your replacement already. Hopefully he's developed his route running. Hopefully his hands have improved. That's all it is. I mean, it's just this is a pick for 2022.
Yeah, no, absolutely. CC coming in here. Eric, if you had to bet, who is the starting safety in 2022 between Stearns and Johnson? I'm going to call it Johnson. I think that he's going to take bigger steps there, and the ball skills he has there. I think Stearns is more versatile, and that makes him a better third safety, which I think Fangio has said many times that he'd like to use more three safety sets. Well, because Stearns is a little bit more athletic, a bigger body type, I think he could do some more there. So I'm going to say Johnson's the starter, but Stearns is still going to be used.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As I said, I think that it's more likely. I think that having that higher ceiling, that more room to grow, he can take those bigger strides. And also, I don't know if you saw that was reported. Basically, Fangio confirmed, I guess, that 4.25, that's the new base.
No way. Did he seriously say that?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was tweeted out. I saw it yesterday or Thursday night. Ben Albright, I know, had something on it as well.
Well, it is a high time that the NFL embraced that. So, yeah, man, that's good to hear. That's great to hear. I would be very interested in that as well. So let's see. We're moving on now to seventh round. And who was this first seventh round pick? It was Vincent. K. Vincent Jr. Interesting. The Broncos went with another cornerback. I watched some K. Vincent. He's obviously a pure slot. And man, if those other picks didn't mean the potential end and the $8 million, near $8 million of savings with Bryce Callahan, this pick might have. I mean, obviously, Callahan's still really valuable, but he can save you a bunch of cash. You are pretty deep there, and Callahan has had injuries. So I'd prefer if you could find a trade partner for him, even if you got a 2022 day 3 pick. It's not that he's not valuable, and maybe let us keep him because they want the depth. They don't want to have that issue again this year. That makes sense to me. But I think that your most talented cornerback trio would be all three new guys, which is crazy. But Darby in the slot, Surtain on the outside, and Kyle Fuller on the other side. So, but well, I mean, that's nothing to take away from Bryce Callahan. He was phenomenal last year. I just with his contract, with his injury history, et cetera, he's actually not that young. Those are things that line up to me saying, like, if you can get something for him, 2022 pick at the end, especially with Peyton who wants 10 picks a year, maybe you could get something.
Yeah, I agree with you on there. I think that this is everything move that they made is signifying that the end of Bryce Callahan in Denver is nigh. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's not one of these veterans post draft cuts that we see. The savings is just too much. I don't think that I saw somebody mention about packaging him in for Rodgers. If that happens, I don't think that Bryce Callahan's a guy for them. They're in tough spot financially, and they already have a slot corner. They have the best slot corner in the NFL in Jaire Alexander. And I mean, he does just so much more for them. But yeah, it's signifying the end of Bryce Callahan in it, and also Asang Bossy. He's not expected to be ready to go early on as well. Neither is Albert Okwuegbunam. Just to throw that out there, they were both mentioned at the same time.
Yep,
So
and I put the 49ers guy in timeout for 5 minutes, guys. Let's let's keep it civil. I know it's kind of silly in there in the chat. Everybody's had a long weekend, tired following football, but let's just let it be. Let's just let it lie. So we got Derek Player coming in here asking if Juwan James balls out this year, do we still get rid of him? From my understanding it is a inevitable mutual divorce. It's not only that the Broncos can save some coin and move on from him after this season where he has been injured a lot, and you want to pay him all that, even if he's great this year, he could get injured again pretty soon, and that's kind of scary. Just with how much cash you can get, how much savings you can get from him. But also it's from Juwan James as well. I mean, you guys got to know, like, with what happened that the year, there was a lot of kind of contentious feelings between James and the medical staff and coaching staff. I mean, the comments from like Vic Fangio is like, oh yeah, well, he's passed, but he's not playing. So that's a concern. I think he's not the happiest with the medical staff and the team. He's going to go out there and play because, I mean, God, he's going to make millions of dollars for doing so. But I think it's a mutual divorce impending at the end of this season by both sides.
Yeah, it's coming no matter what. Denver they learned that they can't trust him, and
he doesn't trust them,
and he doesn't trust them. Like it's coming. The only reason why it hasn't now is because it doesn't make the best financial sense for Denver at this point. Yep. And from what I understand is they did reach out to him about working that contract a little bit to make it a little bit easier, but he said no. So it was either you got to come back and play if you want this money.
Well, there it is, right? So we have a couple more picks to get into here. The second 7th round pick, Jonathan Cooper. Thoughts there, year one projection, long term.
I think year one, what we saw with Derek Teska last year, kind of maybe see some action in emergency situations, but
Yeah.
looking at that practice squad for the most part, the length isn't ideal. The medicals, we don't know how that is. And as a 7th round pick, I mean, he's a long shot as it is. There's some pass rush stuff there. He's a leader. He's going to work hard, but I'm just not seeing this as a super long-term move unless he just exceeds expectations as a 7th round pick.
Yeah, and saying James did not work out here, cut ties, not financially viable for the Broncos to do so prior to this season. So he'll be here this year, and then good luck to you. And you have something coming in here, or some news, or
speaking of edges, former Vanderbilt edge Andre Mintz, he ran 4.57 40 at his pro day. He's signing with the Broncos. I like him.
All right. Well, I mean, can't body those bottom of the roster guys. It'll be fun to see. Maybe he'll beat out Cooper, the guy that we're talking about here. We kind of talked about Cooper earlier. Let's get to the Broncos' last pick, who was who was the last? My brain is so fried.
Spencer.
Yes, guy that we both didn't watch that much, but seems like a good defensive tackle guy, powerful hands. He's got some work to do, but the tackles for loss, the production don't lie, and played in the SEC as well. So had the injuries, maybe we would have seen more from him, but powerful hands, good body type, good twitch for the size. I'm interested. I wish he was a little bit longer than he is, just because I'm like, is he going to be 5 tech? Does he have to be a 3 tech? If they're moving to 4.25 full time, then maybe I'm not as worried about it. But do you have any thoughts have you heard anything about him since we ended the pod?
I guess he's just a good kid, hard worker, going to stick his nose down and work. And
right.
I mean, just kind of fitting that character kind of threshold that we're looking at. Guys who are going to come in, work, and not cause problems.
So the opposite of us at MHH. So we're troublemakers.
Well,
and chat.
You call me queen, but there's a reason why I'm the problem child of MHH, man.
I mean, I have no comment to that one. Just no comment. We'll be moving on. Guys, it's time to get on out of here. We've been here for an hour and a half. We appreciate everybody who joined us again. Eric and I are going to hibernate now until next, probably February, right when the season's over. We'll emerge from our dens and grind some more tape.
January.
January. That's true. Man. Well, I'm going to go hibernate somewhere. But actually, the wife and I are going to go off to REI and get her some new boots because it's wet up here in the Pacific Northwest. She doesn't like her boots, and you need some. Otherwise, hiking with wet feet, no fun. Richie Rich saying Eric and Nick are both toolsy. I mean,
no, I'm just
I was going to say drop the Y on the end of that one.
That works.
But thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you for everybody who joined us this week in general. You guys have been incredible. Obviously, we didn't want to go down that track or that path too far at the end of that show because a lot of people had to get going, things to do. But I really want to give everyone in here a shout out, all of our supers, everybody who helped contribute to this weekend. Obviously, we are just guys talking out into space. But because of you guys, it makes it worth it, right? Like we have fun doing this. We'd be doing this no matter what, but it wouldn't feel as fulfilling as it does without the community. So I really do want you guys to know that you are important to us, and we appreciate you. We're going to be back. I'll be back actually Monday morning for a Broncos for Breakfast. We're going to have a special episode. Scott and myself, we'll be doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday next week, just to kind of recoup the draft. Got to give him a shout out since the Broncos did a trade, right? The 2nd round. So they got Richie Grant at 40 and we got Javonte Williams at 35. But we got everybody coming in here. All these things. Are you guys happy or disappointed? I'm happy, man. All the work, that's the culmination. Broncos didn't do anything totally head scratching. Would have I liked Justin Fields? Yes, but they didn't get him. So, we'll see how it plays out, right? We're trying to project the future. We can say what we want to do. We're trying to figure out a picture without all the pieces too. So we're going the best we can, just like you guys are. So we appreciate all the kind comments too, man. Love you guys. But that's going to have to do it for today. Eric and I we actually have families and things to do that, God, I wonder what they look like. I don't even remember. That's been Mile High Insiders guys today, or Dove Valley building the Mile High Trickle Divers Insiders.
Mile High Deep Divers.
No, that's not as fun. It doesn't roll off the tongue as whatever I just said. The Mile High Deep Divers. We appreciate you guys. Follow us at Twitter, at Mile High Huddle. Guys, go over to our Facebook page. Obviously, a lot of stuff's going down there. The community's reacting to everything happening right now. That's the beauty of social media, right? Everybody doesn't have a chance to think on it. It's immediate emotional response. So that can be really fun. Sometimes it's not as fun, but sometimes it's really fun. But go check them out. Also, get the swag at huddleuppod.com. If you guys are joining us today for the first time via YouTube, or if you join us a few times, but you haven't done this yet, please do us a big favor. I mean, we've been on the air for probably close to, God, Eric, what is it? It's got to be close to like 18 hours.
I think it's right around 18 hours. Yeah.
18 hours. Please. I'm begging for help. I'm crying for help. Please just sub our page. Sub, like, and share for the Rick and Morty fans out there. I know Eric would appreciate that one as well. And above all, we love you guys. Stay safe. Follow Eric and myself at Twitter, at Nick Kendell MHH, and at Erick Trickel. We got work to do. We got things we're going to get to. We appreciate all of you guys. The Broncos babblers. That ain't that the truth. Yeah, cash on Facebook. How about that? I'm not sure what you're saying there, Phoenix, but we'll catch you on Facebook. We'd appreciate that. Oh, my gosh. Okay, stall, Eric. Do something. Do a dance or something. Stall.
It was I think he was making a play on the cash me outside. How about that?
Okay.
I think that's what he was. And then Glenn comes in with
the last minute supers. We got to hit the rap air horn. There it is. Wubba dub dub dub. All right. Keep on twitching. We appreciate the heck out of you guys. Horn, stay safe. Hope everyone enjoyed the draft coverage. Hit us up on Twitter if you have any comments too about that. Just things will change or critiques, things you really liked. If we got way too in the weeds at the end of day 2, making all the Jabril Cox jokes, I mean, you have to, right? If you have a player named that's still there at the end of day 2, if you don't take that, you're not working with your material. But we appreciate everybody. We got to get out of here. And if you missed the show, it's going to stay up on YouTube. It's going to be up on iTunes, all that stuff. But we got to get out of here. Yeah. Love y'all. We'll see you next time. Go Broncos.